While 2025 will see the arrival of multiple new vehicle nameplates, it'll also mark the end of others. In fact, more than 20 different vehicle models won't make it to the 2025 model year. These range from budget subcompacts such as the Mitsubishi Mirage to legendary sports cars like the Nissan GT-R. In this video, I will cover 23 that will be discontinued at the close of the 2024 model year. First up, we have the Audi A5, S5, and RS5 coupe and convertible. Audi's two-door A5, S5, and RS5 variants bite the dust with the conclusion of the 2024 model year, though their four-door sport track equivalents stick around for one more model year. Presumably, Audi intends to introduce a new generation of A5 coupe and convertible at a later date. Then again, there's always the possibility that 2024 marks the end of the line for the two-door A5 family. Moving on to number 2, it is the Bugatti Chiron. The arrival of the Bugatti Tourbillon marks the end of the line for the Bugatti Chiron. After approximately 8 years on the market, the Chiron's 500-unit run ends with a 2024 model year. It's not yet the end of the line for Bugatti's quad-turbo 8.0-liter W16 engine though, as the engine lives on for the 2025 model year, powering the open-top Mistral. Nonetheless, the W16's days are numbered, as evidenced by the new V16 and the gas-electric hybrid Tourbillon. Next, at 3 is the Chevrolet Camaro. Chevrolet is pulling the plug on the Camaro again. The Bowtie brand first nixed the two-door muscle car in the early 2000s, only to bring it back for 2010. The reborn Camaro was a looker, saddled with middling chassis dynamics and gun-slit windows that limited outward visibility. A redesign for 2016 fixed the former issue, while arguably exacerbating the latter. Alas, dwindling sales eventually led Chevy to call it quits on the Camaro, and the American brand unceremoniously marked the model's final year with an available collector edition getup. Still, Chevy claims it's not ready to retire the Camaro name just yet, and it plans to affix the moniker to a 7th generation model in the coming years. Moving on to the next one, at number 4 is the Ferrari 812. The introduction of the Ferrari 16 Cilindri marks the death of the Italian automaker's 812 model line. It seems there's just not enough room in the market for two front-end V12 two-door models, though the 16 Cilindri is sure to whet the appetites of Ferrari fans hungry for a 12-cylinder Grand Tourer bearing the Prancing Pony badge. Its retro-inspired design lacks the flamboyance of the outgoing 812, especially in competizione guise. I'm sure future variants of the 16 Cilindri will kick the model's style and performance up a couple of notches, but will still always hold a special place in our hearts for the 812. Up next at 5 is the Ferrari F8 Spider. The death of the F8 Spider is the end of an era at Ferrari. Want a mid-engine V8 model from the Italian sports car brand? You can have one via the SF90, but you'll always have to take that model's plug-in hybrid bits too. Coming up at 6 is the Fisker Ocean. Given Fisker's bankruptcy, it's no surprise that the Ocean does not make it to the 2025 model year. While the battery electric SUV had its fair share of innovative features, including its California mode that lowered all windows and a rotating center touchscreen that allowed for either landscape or portrait display modes, the rest of the Ocean was rather middling, from its poor software integration to its low-quality interior materials. At 7 is the Ford Edge. Ford lost its edge, with the mid-sized SUV kicking the bucket following the 2024 model year. Well, at least on US shores. Over in China, the Edge lives on. Given its relation to the Chinese-made Lincoln Nautilus, that's what the Blue Oval's luxury arm sells in the United States, the third-generation Edge may eventually find its way to American showrooms, just not as a 2025 model year vehicle. Until Ford says otherwise, though, we have to assume our time with the Edge ends after 2 generations and 18 model years. Introduced in 2007, the two-row Edge slotted in between the smaller unibody Escape and larger body-on-frame Explorer in the automaker's SUV line. The midsize unibody Edge aimed to take on other similarly sized car-based SUVs such as the Mazda CX-7 and Nissan Murano. A redesign for 2015 improved on the original's formula, once again favoring comfort over athleticism. But new arrivals soon edged out the Edge, leaving it straggling toward the back of the midsize SUV pack. At number 8 is the Infiniti Q50. Infiniti is killing the last car in its lineup, the Q50 sedan, after the 2024 model year. The more than decade-old model may have benefited from a handful of changes over the years, including the introduction of a twin-turbocharged 3.0-liter V6, but it never received the love it needed to truly stand out from its sports sedan peers. The Q50 may never have proven itself a segment leader, but its demise still leaves us a little choked up. After all, even a middling rear-drive sports sedan is better than nothing. At the rate sedans are exiting the market, the body style is an endangered species nowadays. Moving on to 9, it is the Jaguar E-Pace. Jaguar's in the middle of an identity crisis, and while the British brand sorts out exactly where it fits in the modern marketplace, it's abandoning ship on just about every vehicle it currently offers come 2025. Among these models is the E-Pace, subcompact luxury SUV. The small front-drive based crossover never really found its footing. Neither particularly great to drive nor especially luxurious, the E-Pace struggled to carve out a niche for itself in a competitive segment that includes more spacious options such as the BMW X1 and Mercedes GLB class, and more chic ones such as the Land Rover Range Rover Evoque. Coming in at number 10 is the Jaguar F-Type. The Jaguar F-Type ends its decade-plus run with the 2024 model year. The Jaguar offered the two-door coupe and convertible with 4, 6, and 8-cylinder engine options throughout its model run. Only the V8 setup survived to power the sports car in the final years of its life. Up next at 11 is the Jaguar I-Pace. An early entrant into the post-Tesla long-range battery electric vehicle marketplace, the Jaguar I-Pace combined low-slung looks with hatchback versatility and more than 200 miles of driving range, per EPA estimates. Unfortunately, newer and less expensive competitors quickly undermined Jaguar's efforts. It didn't help that even in its final model year, the I-Pace still suffered from a similarly steep starting price and a maximum EPA estimated driving range 246 miles, a mere 12 miles more than the original 2019 model's maximum estimate. Admittedly, the I-Pace's range is more than enough for most consumers, but in a world where the similarly priced Lucid Air Pure nets an EPA estimated range of 420 miles, 246 miles just doesn't cut it anymore. Next at 12 is another Jaguar, Jaguar XF. As the replacement to the Jaguar S-Type, the XF proved the British brand need no longer be synonymous with stodgy styling. But the 2009 XF didn't just look good, it drove well too. Unfortunately, Jaguar struggled to keep the momentum going and the XF faded into the background as the years went on. A complete redesign for 2016 saw the XF adopt an aluminum architecture. Unfortunately, the same level of innovation was not applied to the model's exterior design, which looked largely the same as its handsome but aging predecessor. Moving on to 13, it's the Kia Forte. The Forte nameplate is dead more than the idea of the Forte itself. This is because Kia's compact sedan is recast as the K4 for its 2025 redesign, a change that better aligns it with the K5 midsize sedan. The new model is more appealing than before, but the Forte moniker, which has been around since the 2010 model year, is no more in 2025. Prior to Forte, Kia's compact sedan bore the name Spectra, and before that, it went by the name Sophia. Maybe K4 will be the name that finally sticks. The 14th car to be discontinued in 2025 is the Lamborghini Huracan. The Huracan was the entry-level Lamborghini sports car of sorts, providing a sensational follow-up to the Gallardo and expanding Lambo's global sales significantly throughout its production run. The screaming V10 engine, shared with the now defunct Audi R8, was mid-mounted and gave this baby Lambo a distinct character compared to its V12 stablemates. An all-terrain Starato variant set it off with a bang. Next up is the Temerario, which aims to continue in the spirit of the Huracan, but goes about its business in an entirely different way. Its sole powertrain is a plug-in hybrid setup with a V8. Coming on to number 15 is the Maserati Ghibli. The idea of the Ghibli seemed like a good one back in 2014. The semi-affordable sports sedan combined Italian driving characteristics and standout styling with the prestige of the exotic Maserati brand name. But the execution was less than stellar, and the Ghibli served to cheapen the Maserati mystique more than anything. Still, it lasted a while, and versions with the Ferrari-derived V8 engine were real performers. But I won't miss the Ghibli too much, and it isn't slated to get a replacement either, as an eventual next-generation Quattroporte is due to take on the Maserati sedan mantle all by itself. Up next at 16 is the Maserati Levante. Once Porsche jumped on the SUV bandwagon, it was only a matter of time before other sports car manufacturers took the same path. Maserati was a bit late to the party with its Levante, which arrived in 2016 and never really made a name for itself in the crowded luxury performance SUV segment. We're not sure what's coming next to fill this mid-size hole in Maserati's SUV line, but the smaller Grecale SUV will have to do for now. In at 17 is the Maserati Quattroporte. The Maserati Quattroporte has a long history dating back to the 1960s, and its name, meaning four-door, likely isn't gone forever. But the current Quattroporte is dying off for the time being, and its rumored electric replacement is reportedly delayed until several years from now. Available with turbocharged V6 and high-revving V8 engine options, the 6th generation Quattroporte offered a distinctly Italian alternative to big luxury sedans such as the Mercedes S-Class and BMW 7 Series. But it could never match those rivals in terms of refinement and polish. The 18th car to be discontinued in 2025 is the Mini Clubman. With its cheeky styling, unique barn door hatchback setup, and spunky driving character, the Clubman embodied many of the best elements of the Mini brand. The station wagon-esque play on the classic Mini hatchback was offered with a range of powertrain choices, from mild to wild. The performance-oriented JCW versions offering the most fun. The Clubman departed with a final edition model that included a handful of styling tweaks. It seems the upcoming electric Mini Aceman will serve as a replacement of sorts. Next up at 19 are two variants by Mitsubishi in the Mirage lineup, the Mitsubishi Mirage and Mirage G4. The Mitsubishi Mirage was always a joyless ode to basic transportation, offering a low base price and a long warranty, but little else to please car shoppers on a budget. Even still, the Mirage enjoyed surprisingly strong sales, posting a huge increase in the first 3 quarters of 2024 and showing that there's still plenty of demand for an affordable small car. We don't think Mitsubishi has plans to replace the Mirage anytime soon, so perhaps its continued sales success, even in the face of discontinuation, will give another automaker the idea to take advantage of this open opportunity on the unglamorous but pragmatic end of the new car spectrum. Moving on to 20 is the Nissan GT-R. We all know that it's difficult to kill Godzilla, and this applies to Nissan's high-tech sports car as well. The R35 generation lasted from 2008 until 2024 and has received myriad updates over the years. Though it still looks mostly the same as it did way back when. Its power output has gone up steadily, with the Nismo version ultimately producing 600 horsepower from the car's twin-turbo 3.8-liter V6. Once a technological powerhouse, the current GT-R's complex all-wheel drive system has since been eclipsed by newer competitors. Still, Nissan will have big shoes to fill with the next-generation GT-R, which will no doubt incorporate some sort of electrification. At number 21 on the list is the Nissan Titan. With the death of the Titan, Nissan seems to have given up on its attempt to do battle with the big three domestic automakers' full-size pickups. It was a valiant effort, starting in 2003 with a first-generation Titan that brought impressive V8 power, daring styling, and a few innovative features to the segment. But the sales figures never reached anywhere near the heights of its rivals. The arrival of the second-generation Titan for 2016 did little to change the truck's fate, as the addition of the XD variant, meant to fit into the middle ground between light and heavy-duty trucks, ended up pleasing neither set of customers. Up next at 22 is the Ram 1500 Classic. The Ram 1500 Classic dates way back to 2008 because the truck brand simply kept building the previous generation 1500 pickup, internally known as the DS, long after the new generation model arrived for 2019. Consider that Ford and General Motors redesigned their full-size pickups several times during the continuous production of the DS generation Ram. The aging Ram pickup finally reached the end of the road after the 2024 model year, at which point Classic was a bit of an understatement. Finally, at number 23 is the Toyota Venza. The Toyota Venza already died once and came back to life. The first Venza was a Camry-based crossover sold from 2009 to 2015. Then there was a gap of several years before Toyota revived the nameplate and applied it to the Japan market Harrier, a derivative of the RAV4 hybrid. The new for 2021 Venza was pitched as a mid-size two-row crossover designed to compete against rivals such as the Ford Edge and Nissan Murano. But the Venza was too small, too expensive, and too similar to Toyota's other offerings to stand out from the crowd. It's now been replaced by the Crown Signia, a lower, longer, and wider two-row SUV that looks almost like a wagon and better lives up to its near-luxury mission.